Hi, this is Keiko from Brooklyn Shoe Space for Shoe Talks Quarantine Edition. We're a little late. I'm so sorry about that. 10 minutes late. We are inviting Chase of Chase Custom Boots down in Washington D.C. area, and let's see if she is online. Yes, she is. So we are going live with her.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Sorry about that.
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Where are you located right now? You're outside?
So I'm outside of my studio. I thought it would be really fun
Yeah.
to start outside of the building and go for a little tour of the whole place.
Yes, I would
Shall we?
love that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn the camera.
Uh-huh. Is this like your art? Oh, wow. It's a corner store. Mm-hmm.
So I have
Nice.
my studio at a place called Pyramid Atlantic Art Center, which is a
Uh-huh.
40-year-old institution dedicated to letterpress, printmaking, book arts, paper making.
Wow.
And
Wow.
they have classes and programs, residencies,
Uh-huh.
um, all sorts of stuff going on that you'll see.
That is fantastic. Uh-huh.
So I just want
Wow.
to
This
start by
paper
entry.
goods. Uh-huh.
Here,
Wow.
this is the gift store. All of this
Yes.
stuff is made by artists who work here or artists who live
Nice.
locally.
Yes.
And this is
Hmm.
some of my swag.
Leather.
These,
Yes.
yeah, the tassel
Oh,
earrings,
yes.
and I've just started doing these new bracelets, these cuffs that are
Uh-huh.
reversible.
Ooh.
So anyway,
Wow.
little sidekick, but
Sweet. That is really nice. Is somebody manning the place or is this kind of
oh yeah,
open or? Oh, yeah. Okay.
yeah. No,
Wow.
somebody sits back there at the desk,
Uh-huh.
and she's sitting
Uh-huh.
right here at the moment.
Uh-huh.
But I'm gonna walk
Nice. And
through.
this is
So
the
this is
press.
the
Wow.
beautiful old letterpress machines. This is
Uh-huh.
the letterpress studio, and
Wow.
this is an amazing paper cutter. Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, it's
So it's
beautiful.
really fun
Wait,
because
just
the tools.
just for scale, how big is it? Like sorry, this paper cutter, for example. How wide is the
Um,
machine?
well,
On the
there's a human.
yeah. Oh, wow. It's huge. I
So
thought
I
it was
think
like a
that's like 24
uh-huh.
inches, 30 inches.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So as we walk through, we have the bindery right here on the
Uh-huh.
left, and then on the
Uh-huh.
right are the printmaking presses.
Wow, what is that big wheel?
This is uh, a press. You
Uh-huh.
know, I don't even know. Can you say something about the press?
This is an etching press.
An etching press, okay.
Etching press.
A French jewel press?
Tool.
Tool press. Yeah, beautiful, right?
Yeah, I wonder what it does, but I guess the whole sheet of paper gets.
Yeah. You would lay down these
Uh-huh.
pieces of paper. You would put
Uh-huh.
your etching and the paper on
Uh-huh.
top of it, and then you would roll the wheel,
Oh,
and it
right,
would
right,
make the
right.
imprint.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So
Oh,
so
this is
something that's fun about all of this machinery is that it
yes,
dates to the same era of industrialization that my
yes,
boot making tools do.
yes,
So that's what they have
yes.
in common, and we'll see that when we go upstairs. But
Uh-huh.
here's a classroom, and then all of these black doors. Behind all these
Uh-huh.
black doors are studios, artist studios.
Uh-huh.
And as we head down here, we get to the paper making studio, which is my
Uh-huh.
favorite of the studios here. Super incredible. Somebody's making paper today out of, I think this is hemp,
Wow. Uh-huh.
sure, but
Oh, I think you
and then
froze on
back
me.
here we have a
Oh,
screen
okay.
printing
Yeah.
dark room and a screen printing
Wow.
studio.
Wow, this is like a dream.
Yeah. It's really
Wow,
wonderful.
that's
So
beautifully
I'm
like
merely here
it's
because I rent
equipped.
studio space. And
Right. Have you
but as a
taken some of the classes
I have,
for
yeah,
like
yeah. As a tenant, I can use the equipment. And you know, there's
uh-huh.
memberships, and there's just people around is the main thing. So I don't work alone, which
Yeah,
is of course for
that is
creatives
nice.
a
Yes.
big problem.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now we're on the
That's
second
why, yeah,
floor,
we have the shoe
and
space.
it's a
So
really big
Second, oh,
high
beautiful. The
ceiling,
arches are beautiful. Mm-hmm.
historic building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
they're just involved in setting up a new exhibit. So this is our gallery,
Mm.
where once upon a
Mm-hmm.
time we had fabulous openings.
Yes.
And
Don't
then
you
I,
miss those days?
oh boy, do I. There's also more studios up on the mezzanine.
Wow.
There's
Okay. Yeah.
a library back in there.
Uh-huh. What did
And
the
then
building used to be? Do you know?
it's been many things. It was a candlepin bowling alley. It was a movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
It has a long history, but through this arch to
Uh-huh.
my door, and I got to point out this,
Oh, the horseshoe.
the horseshoe, because I've seen so many.
Yes. Yes.
So here, this is my studio.
Yes. Ah, so nice.
Do a slow with three big,
Y-
huge windows,
Yes.
southern facing windows.
Nice.
So really lasts on the rafters, which is super handy.
Nice. It's
And
such a tall ceiling.
yeah, no, they're about, I guess they're 15 footish. And here
Wow,
in my
that's
leather
huge.
rack,
Yeah,
which I
very
designed,
nice.
it's sort
Uh-huh.
of 8 inches deep, and it's got these rods, and it's a pretty compact way to store a lot of leather, actually.
Yeah, that is. That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Um,
That's really
and up
smart.
top, I have my first pair of boots,
Mm-hmm.
which I made with Carl Chappel, and over
Uh-huh.
here I've got some, my trophy
Uh-huh.
and some Montana swag because I have family
Uh,
ties to Montana.
uh-huh.
And then back here, I always like to show this because this is what I refer to as my cred wall. It's some ribbons from when I was a kid doing horseback riding.
Very,
So,
very nice. So you have like a long history with boots. It might have not
with
been a
riding.
cowboy
Yeah.
in riding. Yeah, it might have not been a
Yeah.
cowboy boot, but yeah,
I know
wow.
it was Western. It was Western
Yeah.
riding. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I
Oh,
thought
that's so beautiful.
this might be a good place to start.
Yes.
This is where I took this is Carl Chappel, and I took my first boot making course with him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And very sadly he died last week.
Last week? Oh
Yes,
no,
last
I'm
week.
so sorry. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry
so
to
that's
hear
going to
that.
reverberate. This Carl provided classes, and
Mm-hmm.
not that many people do that. It's actually pretty hard to learn to make boots, and he really filled a niche. And so it's sad to see him go.
Right. Where was he located?
St. Joe, Texas.
Texas.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so north of Dallas, Fort Worth. I'm surprised. Haven't you heard of Carl? You
Yes,
must
I have.
because a lot
Yes,
of people have
yes,
studied with him.
yes. But then, so you're in DC area,
Yeah.
yes, and then you found him, and so you visited Texas,
Yeah,
and
I well, I'll the way that I'll sit down and tell you how it all started.
oh,
But before
sure,
I leave
yes,
this wall, I want to show these
yes,
people because
uh-huh,
these are the people. After I spent 2 weeks with Carl making my first
uh-huh,
pair, I went and spent
uh-huh.
4 months with this
Ooh,
couple.
okay,
And Thea, and they're based in Wyoming.
uh-huh.
Yeah, and I love this photo because it's the first weekend I showed up for my apprenticeship, and I'm actually in it. You can see my shadow in the lower part of
Oh, in
the
the photo,
frame, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
What
So
did you
anyway, where
do
most people
there?
have
What, yeah, what did you do there? So 4 months staying with them
so
is it a farm or?
they'd been hired that day to help round up some cattle. So they
Okay.
took me with them to go to this
Okay.
ranch. Just setting up my camera.
Yeah.
So it was just a really lovely autumn day that I spent with
Yes.
them.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I took my first class with Carl. I guess it was fall of 2013, and
Uh-huh.
it was fantastic. And after I finished it, I realized I would never be able to figure out how to make another pair again. Like it's quite complicated. And once you make a
Right.
pair, you realize what you don't know.
Right.
And so I was able to find somebody that would take me on and I spent 4 months with them in Sheridan, Wyoming.
Okay. Wow. 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 So that was just one day. Okay, I was okay. I got mixed up. I thought the horse riding. Sorry, the
You saw the
couple.
horse.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So I thought you went 4 months to like train with the horses, and I'm like, what? No. So
No,
four
no, no.
months you were in Wyoming with with somebody to apprentice.
Yeah, with that couple. They
There's
also
a
hire
couple.
out. I mean, he's truly a cowboy professionally. So he helps people
Mm,
round up cattle, and so because I
right.
was there in the fall, they were doing a 1 day job, and so it was really fun to
Right.
get to go out and do
To
that.
watch and yeah. Oh wow, that's fantastic. Oh, and then, but how did you like decide to go to Carl? Was that
Yes.
earlier in your
So,
career or your life?
yeah, yeah. I mean, the quick answer to that is that I was raised on a farm, raised riding, was always a crafty kid, went to college, got a degree in art. Um,
Uh-huh.
After college, I started making furniture, and
Oh, okay.
I was a furniture maker for a couple of decades actually.
Wow.
10 years after I left my undergraduate program, I went to graduate school and got a master's in furniture design and did that for a
Wow.
number of years after I graduated. But was, kind of grew a little bit disillusioned with furniture. It's cumbersome. It's hard to exhibit. Shop space is expensive. Tools are dangerous. Like there's a whole bunch of practical things around the medium that I got kind of frustrated with. So
Mm.
I was just thinking it was time to leave it. And I met a custom cowboy boot maker at a party in
Mm.
Denver, Colorado, where I was living at the time. I was
Uh-huh.
so caught off guard because, I was raised writing. I was working in a craft medium. I was working at an art museum at that time. I'd been working
Yeah.
professionally in the arts. Like the making was kind of a side thing, really. Reading all the periodicals. I'm like, how have I never heard of this? And I
Yeah.
started to explore and I kind of discovered this really sort of what to me feels like a little bit of an underground kind of
Yeah.
cultish world of custom
Yeah.
cowboy boot makers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I was like, sign me up.
Yeah. Do you remember this person from Denver, Colorado?
I do,
Was
yeah,
he...
yeah. It's a friend of mine's husband. So
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah,
Cool. Very cool. Very cool.
yeah. So
And
it was quite a process, to find someone.
find someone who can teach you.
Yeah, yeah, and so to kind of make the change, like definitely the most likes I ever got on a Facebook post was the one where I posted that I was quitting my day job and going to Texas to learn to make cowboy boots.
Yes. Oh, but all your friends are super like encouraging, and they must have known that you had like this, idea.
No, I think it's just
No.
that everybody wants to quit their day job and run away and do something totally outrageous and inappropriate.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And then so you just went for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, furniture making in a way, like, and your hands and the craftiness, and it all comes together as well.
Yeah, no, there's no
Yeah.
question. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a creative person and making furniture, it's the same tool language. You're
Mm-hmm.
still dealing with
Yeah.
structure and
Yeah.
there's a lot of
3D.
things that were actually paired up and still it's quite difficult.
Different. Yeah.
Making boots is hard and I'm kind of as a business prospect, I was like, well, everybody knows what cowboy boots are. They're iconic. You basically can't go anywhere to learn how to make boots in an academic setting. I mean,
Right.
there's still sort of a few places I'd be pressed to tell you right now, but I'm sure some of the
Mm-hmm.
watchers know. But now that Carl's gone, I mean, he was the one person I would have been like, yeah, there's this guy in Texas. You certainly can't watch YouTube videos to figure out how to do it. I mean, it's you can. You'd have to be kind of super smart to put it all together and
Figure
make
it out.
work.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
If you're super dedicated, you can do it, but
Yeah.
it's pretty tricky. So
Yes.
you know, high demand, difficulty getting the know-how kind of made
Right.
for a good business prospect in my mind.
Right.
And it was tied to my personal history. So
right, right. And after the 2 weeks plus the 4 months, did you come back to DC
Yeah.
saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this full
yeah,
time.
yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then how did you, so I know, like, you know, how did you, what was your cup after you came back? What was your first pair that you made? Do you remember?
Well, I had friends who were eager to sign up. So yeah, I was able to make pairs for people while doing my apprenticeship. I didn't charge them. Those are the freebies. And I definitely charged people very little early on, maybe just
Right.
enough to cover the materials.
Materials. Mm-hmm.
But basically ever since then I've had a queue, which sometimes kind of even amazes me because I don't do aggressive marketing. I don't do much traditional marketing at all. And yet they come, and more clients are coming online via Instagram and other avenues, which always, you know, it just kind of surprised me because it's not a cheap item, you know.
No,
and
no.
and I'm really pleased that all those commissions had worked out because it's, you know, when you're dealing with people you don't know, you know,
Right.
do I know they're going to show up with the final payment? And
Right.
do I know that we're going to have the same sort of simpatico to
Right.
you know, get through the process of designing
Right.
the boot? Because
Did-
by and
does
large, I know the people I work with in some context, you know, maybe distant, but
Right. And do the clients usually give you like a design idea or like a boot top, like
yeah,
colorway
they do.
request?
Clients really, yeah, they'll know I want wildflowers and I'm kind of interested in these colors, or you know, I want to do a family tree on my boot, or you know, I want to do rock feathers, or I want to do Hello Kitty.
That was funny. Not funny. It was cute. It's different for sure.
No, it's funny.
It is funny.
I was like,
but then how do
yeah,
you,
no, it's hilarious.
Do you usually draw first and show the client the artwork and kind of, it's like a step process where you show the illustration and then get approval and then go forward, or?
Yep. Yeah. So they tell me what they're interested in. I have a series of questions for them at the fitting about, you know, toe shape and all that type of thing.
Yeah.
Then I do a series of drawings, and sometimes they'll just say, I love that one, or they'll say, well, I like that and this and that, and sort of pull in elements from each drawing. And then I do, and then we go through the color swatches, and then I'll make a top and show it to them. So, you know, this is what your boot is going to look like. And I don't very often have to go and make another top. Usually people are so excited. You know, it's really great, actually. On occasion, I'll go back and change some things out. I mean, a top is like a sample piece, basically. Let's go on and make the boots from there.
Measure everybody's foot? Do you measure everybody's foot in person, or?
Yeah, I do. There's a couple people that I've
Sorry, there's like a little
watched.
lag. Sorry.
That's okay. There's a couple of people that I have via FaceTime watched them be fit by somebody I know, like a friend's husband. I'll tell him what to do. I'll send directions, and you know, so people that are, you know, reasonably cost them to.
You can do it.
To do some basic measurement. I'm sure there's some bootmakers that would be horrified at that. You know, there's a lot of, it's been interesting in watching all of your programs. I've really learned a lot about fitting, which has been great. And some people go to really very, very specific ends, which I think is fabulous.
And then,
but I have just a couple of times done fittings via cell phone and not in person. But in general, yeah, I really, especially if I don't know them, I've got to see you in person.
Right. Sabatus Bespoke, Sarah says, can we see your drawings, design drawings for your boot tops? Do you have some?
Yeah, sure. I'll pull out a file.
Thank you. You can always, whenever, you know, you can always say later or sometime on your Instagram, or but thank you.
I mean, I will say that they are very basic sketches, right? These are not super sophisticated, advanced drawings. I clients seem to have a fair amount of ability to envision what something might look like, right? So I'm just doing.
Sorry, it's frozen
Just
for a
doing,
second. Yeah.
just doing these types of sketches.
Nice.
Right? So just pencil sketches. And then then we get down to the pounce. This was the drawing they chose. And then there's a sample.
Do you always keep a sample?
No,
This
this one is one
process. This one is actually in process. Yeah. Oh, this is the one that changed. Not,
yeah, it was made quite a while ago. We changed the size of the flowers.
Oh, I see.
So,
I see.
But this is great because then, clients really know what they're getting. So nobody is surprised,
Yes. Oh,
nobody
you
is
have
surprised.
A photo of the boot. Oh, that's wonderful. Yes. So you can keep an archive so you can show what you make.
Yep.
I feel like your boot tops are different in a way that it has a femininity, or I don't know what it is. Somehow.
Interesting. Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't know if it's the color choices or if it's the drawings, something about it.
Maybe it's because my clients are more urban. Maybe it's
mm-hmm.
because my clients are more urbanite people.
Right. So more like more fashion kind of, right. I see.
Mm-hmm.
What's the process of boot making that you love about the most?
Oh, I mean, there's a few parts along the way. I do really enjoy once you've decided what the path, just actually sitting down and making it. There's something really enjoyable about just sitting at the machine and sewing. And especially, I had a client recently. I don't know if you can see them, the boots back there. We can look at those later, but
yeah.
I don't do this type of boot very often. So it was really fun to do a super traditional, just very Western stitching. So there's four or five rows of stitching there, and just to sit down and do that over and over.
Yes.
While listening to a good book. It's great.
I would love to see some of the machines that you use and what hand tools do you like the best?
Right. Okay. Well, I can do my favorite hand tools, and then I'll show you some of the bigger ones. So, this knife is an edge, right, that you would typically use right on the inside. Sorry. Do right here. And this is handmade. I bought this at the Sheridan Leather Trade Show. I should say it's the Rocky Mountain Leather Trade Show.
Oh wow! It's like a mirror.
Yeah, I know. There's a stamp for the knife, but there's not a stamp for the maker. And maybe if someone's watching, they know the name of the gentleman who makes them. But it's just such a beautifully made item. I really love that. Then there's this tool, which is, antler.
What do you use it for?
Just kind of for everything. You know what I mean? It's just scratch it. No, it's a burnishing tool mostly. And I found it on the property with the gentleman that I learned to make boots from. So it's kind of a sentimental tool. We found it when we were walking around on his property, and so it's a nice memory.
Did you have to grind any of the bumps to kind of make it smooth, or was it already kind of smooth?
No, this one, because it's the tip of the antler, is kind of smooth.
Smooth. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
That's
and then
so
I
cool.
also, you know, it's funny they're all about the same shape and size, but I love this little, it's a super cheap knife. But it's got this fun little scabbard on it, handmade scabbard. This was given to me by the guy that I apprenticed with, Ed.
Uh-huh.
And it's
Do
got,
you use this knife for clicking?
no, I
Or
use it
no?
for making the holes where you're going to put the pull
Oh,
straps through,
aha.
which is kind of one of the
Good.
funny things about boot making to me is there's a tool for every single little job.
Yeah.
So,
So lots of knives.
yeah, lots of everything. I'll show you the setups for my.
Yes, I would love that. A tour of your studio.
So
Aha.
there's a bunch of hand
Nice.
tools. I
Yeah.
have right by my lasting
Nice. Lasting jacks.
jigs.
Yes. You
And
have a nice
I
one.
got all my measuring
Pullers.
tools
Oh,
and
aha.
boot grinders and my knife strop down there.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um,
What's that third from the left one? That wait, sorry. What's
this one.
I'm just trying to yeah.
This is for grinding pegs out of the bottom of a boot.
Yeah, I see. I see. I've seen something. Ooh, yeah. Okay.
A peg grinder, and this
Peg
head
grinder.
pivots,
Wow.
and it's long because you have to put it down into
Yes,
the boot.
to the boot. Wow, very cool.
So all three of those are peg
Oh,
grinders of a sort.
wow. How
Right.
do you find these tools? These look vintagey, but is it new or is it?
No, so I essentially sold my wood shop, moved from
Yeah.
Denver to DC, and I knew
Uh-huh.
I knew I was going to do something with it, and I basically ended up just buying a boot shop.
Oh, wow.
So all of these tools,
Uh-huh.
I bought refurbished because that's yet another one of the many things that he does is he collects old boot making tools
Yeah.
and refurbishes them.
Uh-huh.
So I actually went out after I made my class. I thought, yes, this is the next medium. Then I did the apprenticeship, and
Yeah.
then I flew to St. Joe with got a U-Haul at the airport, and I drove up to
Mhm.
Carl's, and I picked up
Uh-huh.
all of these tools, and then I drove them back to DC. So I got a lot
Wow.
of the hand tools at that time as well, but of course over the years, I got, my side stitcher here.
Uh-huh.
I got that from Carl. My
Wow.
5-in-1.
Yeah. Yeah.
My leather splitter,
Yeah.
and then of course my Landis G.
Wow. Oh, it's a G. Wow.
Yeah. So this thing is definitely the heaviest thing in this shop.
Yes.
It's about
Yes.
600 pounds to 4
Yeah.
guys.
Wow. Up the ramp for U-Haul. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
wow.
more off the ramp of the U-Haul.
Off the
versus
right.
stairs.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, yes, you're on the second floor. How did you do that?
Yeah, there's actually a back door here. But I was in a previous studio before this one.
Okay.
So
Wow.
there's
I hope you have an elevator.
there on the second floor there, it goes right out to a parking lot. There's no steps involved.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, that's
So
great.
super handy.
Yes.
So
Oh,
skiving
wow.
machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then probably a more significant machine that I've acquired since that time is my laser
Yes.
cutter.
Oh, yes, that is fun. Wow.
Yeah, I got a glow forge.
The glow forge, that's amazing. I actually, yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but yeah, when they started the Kickstarter, like I forget when, yeah, I was tempted to get it, and then I didn't.
Yeah. Right,
But,
right. Yeah, no, we had that discussion. Yeah.
This is great. Do you use your the laser cutter for your designs? Do you always digitize your design?
No, I don't, but I can show you. So something else that I'm really actually quite involved in these days is making two-dimensional artwork out of leather. So the boots have kind of moved to the background, except for the fact that with the virus, everything got canceled. I was supposed to do a 1-month residency at Gentel Foundation in Wyoming fair. I had exhibits, and all of that got canceled.
Right.
So I'm, always thankful to have boot clients, but was really thankful to have boot clients over the past 6 months. So the artwork stuff is just starting to kick back in. And this piece right here, this is a piece left over from my last show. The series was about endangered and threatened plants due to cattle overgrazing and development issues broadly. So this is an endangered species of sunflower, and the flowers are laser cut and laser etched.
Wow,
So
that's
that would be a
fantastic.
good example.
What is it?
Of how
What's
I
the
use a laser cutter.
material? Is it
leather.
a paper? Oh, it's leather.
No. It's all leather.
It's leather. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so.
It's kind of it has such a meaning too. Like it's kind of amazing that it's the topic of leather and cattle and overgrazing and
right.
The
And
whole industry.
So
all
of these works are leather mounted on a board. This piece is called a nothing burger, which is I'm hoping from your laugh you know what that is. It's the Republican response to Trump's Ukrainian phone call. Everybody was saying, "Oh, it's no big deal. It's a nothing burger."
Right.
And I just anytime a meat or cattle are referenced in popular culture stuff, I'm all over it.
Right.
So
right. Oh,
so yeah,
and it's leather. And is it mounted on? And is there like a little it looks? Sorry, it's hard to see, but is it 3D a little bit? Like, does it have depth?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So these are all, they're stitched, and then they're mounted onto sometimes just a frame like a painting. They're stretched like a painting, and sometimes I stretch them over a board.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So what would you say right now after 6 months of quarantining? Do you make more art right now? Is it picking up, or do you feel like it's a half and half?
I would say the first 6 months of quarantining were all about boots. And because, there's always boots to make. And I was really thankful, to be honest, to have a client list and to be able to come into my studio because I work alone.
Yeah.
So in a way I was able to just continue on.
Do you live far from the studio?
No, I live 5 miles from my home.
That's great.
Super
so you
convenient.
can just drive really quick or even bike.
Yeah. But now I'm sort of turning to focus on the art again because everything's starting to kick back in. Like the residency just told me what dates I can come back next year, and the art fair is going to be happening. So it all got postponed for a year. And also
so you want to prepare.
Yeah. It's just, you got to get back in that headset. And then also I'm doing a commission. I'm going to show you. I should have showed you this earlier. Sorry, I love this device, but so this right here is it's a commission for a restaurant. It's for a meadery, right? It's honey wine. So this is a big 30 by 40 inch drawing, and that's an Arizona honeybee. Beautiful. And this is a pear cactus with big blossoms.
Big flowers, blossoms. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm going to make all of that in leather.
And do they want it to be tooled, or do they want it to be like what you do, what you specialize? Like you actually cut them out, stitch them, overlay.
That's
kind
right.
of. Yeah. Wow. Very cool.
I don't do any tooling. Tooling is kind of leatherworking 2.0. That's a whole other bailiwick. Maybe someday.
Right.
It's super
Wow.
appealing, but it's a whole different tool and skill set. So
Yes, yes. Oh, but that's beautiful what you do. So I guess
thank you.
I was gonna ask, one of the questions I always ask is like, what are the personal projects that you're working on? And I guess it is your artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for the artwork, do you still go by Chase Custom Boots, or do you have a different, do you go by your full name?
Yeah, I separated out the identities.
Okay.
So on my, if for people who follow me on Chase Custom Boots, in my byline, the link for chasedeforest.net, which
Aha.
is all of the artwork. And it's a whole separate website too. So they link to each other,
Yeah.
but it's kind of subtle off the
Uh-huh.
margin. And I've just made the decision because boots are too perceptually limiting for people. So
Mm,
if I don't bring that up in the equation, it's doesn't enter the mindset. And then
right.
later, if they find out about it, that I do that too, that's great. And that's added coolness, I guess. But
Yes.
um, it's just best that people come at it thinking it's just artwork.
Right. I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask if you have put those two together as like artwork as well, but um, art boots itself is like art, so I guess it is a separate kind of separate.
Yeah.
Actually,
Well, I mean,
sub
boots are commissioned products for people's
yeah,
interests.
right.
The artwork explores my
Mm,
interests, and particularly basically in Western issues surrounding the material that I use, hide, leather
mm-hmm.
hide.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so fantastic. Where do you get your inspiration from? Do you feel like it is about the leather, it is about social, um, something that's going on in the world right now, politics, to what's your inspiration for the artwork and for the boots?
Yeah, it's reading.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
it's reading
Hmm.
contemporary issues.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have
that
a
is
favorite
the
that
source.
do you have a oh, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
No, no, it's okay.
Okay. Do you have a favorite boot and or artwork that you worked on?
Um, yeah, I mean, I really am fond of a pair of olive green boots with hawk feathers on them that I did for a client. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I don't know why, just like turns out it's just a pair of hawk feathers arcing on it. It
Mm-hmm.
just turned
Mm-hmm.
out that done in black and white stitching, just really captured what a feather looks like and the colors. We did a suede foot with the um, same color leather, but the shiny side on the outside for the
Mm-hmm.
top. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it just worked. You know what I mean? You can't plan for
Yeah.
it. Sometimes they just sing. So that's kind of my favorite boot. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I have a favorite artwork yet.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, it is a process, isn't it? I feel like, yeah, it's not, yeah, you're still making and it's gonna keep on going and growing. Um, do you like shorter or taller boots? I saw you made like a shorty, and you
Yeah.
also have like the men's super big ones as well. Which ones do you prefer, or is it just a different
I
client?
mean, yeah, the shorties are not that exciting. Those ones you posted didn't have any stitching or anything. That was just kind of trying to figure out. That's a boot for me, basically. I was trying to figure out
Mm-hmm.
how to do it,
Mm-hmm.
in case people do want it. I've never actually had a client ask for a shorty, which is fine. I like the stand. My boots tend to be about 14 inches tall.
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought that the 12-inch boot, which is kind of the standard, sort of cuts people right in the middle of the calf or right in
Mm-hmm.
the middle of the lower part of their leg, which I don't find to be particularly flattering, maybe
Mm-hmm.
especially on women. So I always recommend that the boot height go to the widest part of their calf.
Uh-huh.
So their calf
A
doesn't
little taller.
come out over the top, just makes a
Right.
leg look much more slender.
Longer. Yeah. Yeah.
So, maybe 14 inches is about the height of a leg of a 5'7" to 5'10" person or something. I don't know, but
Right.
the more
What?
palette, the better in a way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It is like a blank canvas in a way, the boot tops. What's
Yeah.
what material do you like to work with for
Oh,
your
you know
boots?
what? I am really like, I know bootmakers do all sorts of crazy stuff. I'm like pretty straightforward cattle hide. Again,
Mm.
because I think my clients tend to be more urban people. They're not
Mm-hmm.
into the exotics. I mean, I have done ostrich skin boots. Those Hello Kitty
Mm-hmm.
boots were pink ostrich, which like
Yeah.
it was so fun to do those. Anytime you get a
Yeah.
client that wants to go way out of the bounds of normal is so fun, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, I always try to steer clients away from this, to be honest. Like, don't
Yeah.
commission this boot. You can buy this boot on the shelf. But this gentleman he had 5 pairs of boots just like this, so he had a thing, and I respect
Right.
that too.
Right.
But I always say you can get a brown or black boot on the shelf. Go big,
Right. Right.
go
Right.
go
Go
for color.
colorful. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
Um,
so I have had clients bring me hides that they're
yeah.
from their property.
Mm-hmm.
Very handy to
Wow.
have,
Cool.
gator that you can process and turn into a pair of
Yeah.
boots. So I've done
Yeah.
that. But otherwise, no, it's pretty straightforward cattle hide here.
Cattle. That's cool. How long does it take to make a pair, and like how many pairs do you work at a time? Do you have
Well,
a
so that
good?
is my least favorite question of all time. And I would love to do a survey of bootmakers to find out what their least favorite question is. But because it's a tricky answer,
Yeah.
I mean, you meet someone and you measure them, and then they go in a queue. And then when you start the design process, some people are very certain about what they want and make quick decisions. Other people
Mm-hmm.
don't.
Oh, okay.
And then there's the whole process of making, and sometimes it's more complicated than others. There's all the wet
Mm.
and drying time
Yeah.
that you have to go through. So it's pretty spread out over a
Right.
long period of time.
So,
I'm always working on 2 pairs at once. I'm always making a pair and designing a pair, so I just can keep
okay,
it kind of
in
going.
tandem. Yeah.
Hmm.
So for example, what's the like a longest, what's a design, let's say boot top, that took you the longest?
Well, I just finished one recently where it was a family tree, and
Mm-hmm.
and
I
so
saw that. Yeah.
yeah, so um, they decided they wanted the tree stitched, which is a lot more
Oh, yeah.
complicated.
Yeah.
And then they also wanted roots to go down on the foot
Right.
in stitching.
Wow.
So that was just
Wow.
that was that was a really long process.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
something that's tricky with making boots is when people are trying to have representation of specific things. It can
Yeah.
be very hard to capture that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to do shadowing and color
Mm-hmm.
differentiation. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not, I tend to, or else that's not my skill set. I think of boots more as very graphic,
Yeah.
bold colors.
Yeah.
They're not, it's hard to make a drawing.
Right.
So the tree was a little tricky that way. And I
Mm-hmm.
laser cut the names in around
Mm-hmm.
leaves, because
Uh-huh.
names are also very hard to do, and stitching.
Yeah.
And actually that was
Yeah.
great. I thought it looked pretty good, but yes,
Yeah.
recent boot probably was my hardest,
The hardest.
or
Oh,
most time consuming, I should say.
right, right. But say boot tops aside, for example, the other process, do you crimp your um vamp pieces?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I do.
And I guess I'm just trying to see like, yeah, so what's your wait list? I'm like, do people have like a 6 months wait list, wait time, lead time? What would you tell a
I
client?
don't have, yeah, I'm not a multi-year, I'm not a Texas Traditions 4-year long boot list,
Right.
sadly. Although I'm happy that I don't actually. It's a number that allows me to sleep at night.
That's good. That's
Right?
great.
It's
That's great.
it's not
Yeah.
it's not too many people that makes me anxious, but it's enough people to keep the
Keep you
bank
going.
rolling, right?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. But I guess in
Yeah.
the entire process, would you say it takes about from the beginning of, corresponding about the design, decisions, top making, and then all the making? Would it be like 2 months, 3 months to make a boot or
No, more
no?
more like 6 months to a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I just wanted to figure that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. What's your favorite thing about having your own boot company or studio now?
Well, it's my favorite thing about having my own boot company. Well, it's novel. It's novel, that's for sure. It's not every day people made a custom cowboy boot maker.
Yes. And also, is every day different? Is every design, every shoe is different, or every boot is different? And it's like, I'm just also comparing to the decades that you spent with furniture making.
Yeah,
Do
well,
you?
that's what I was just going to say. One thing that I really, really like about boot making is that with furniture making, I would do custom pieces for clients. So I would make cabinets or armoires or desks every form was always a different set of connections or joints or it was just structurally making an entirely different thing. So every time I was recreating the wheel, boots are immensely much more
Mm,
efficient because um, it's the same structure every time,
right,
right? So,
right.
but it's got all the creativity of
Yes,
the, top and the foot, and that
yeah,
to me is a fantastic combination. I love that. Like, there's enough
yeah,
creativity in that.
yeah,
I don't need to figure out how to rebuild a boot every
yeah,
time at all.
yeah, absolutely. Have you ever had challenges during your how many years now? 7, 8 years of
Yeah, I'm at 6 years, over
six
6 years, headed towards 7.
6 years
Yeah. Um, have there been challenges?
challenges like
Um,
moving or COVID is one big challenge, I thought. But
you,
something.
I would say, there have been boots that have been remade.
Uh-huh. Wow. Yeah. Have you done that ever? Yeah.
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 I had to remake a pair once, just totally did not get the fit right. Um,
Mm,
I was it was an impromptu fitting, and I used a
mm.
different measuring device. I
Oh.
used one that wasn't this,
Aha.
and
Aha.
I thought I was compensating for it, but I did not. So that's not fun. You feel
No.
immensely unprofessional when you deliver a pair that doesn't fit.
Right.
Oh
Right.
well, it's just
But
part of the
you
process.
right. And then you just went right back at it
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
remade the yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Oh. Yes, it happens.
I'm curious what you've in all of your interviews, and I've watched a number of them, super
Yeah.
enjoyable. I mean, really, I am such a lone wolf, A, as a custom cowboy boot maker, but B, as a custom cowboy boot maker in Washington, D.C.
Yes,
So
East
it's been
Coast.
so fun to just see people. I mean, I know a lot of the people that you've interviewed, but also just to have, like a just chance to hear what people do and how they do it differently. It's been a
Yeah.
real learning experience, and to be able to put it on the background while I'm sewing a boot top. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
enjoyable. So
Oh, thank you. Thank
yeah,
you. Do
thank you
you
so
do
much
you
for that. But I
do
am
you
curious.
have do you know anything? Do you know anything that like you do differently from other bootmakers?
Oh,
Some techniques or tools?
I mean, the laser cutter, I don't think a lot of bootmakers have.
Hmm.
Outside of that, no, because I've learned from somebody that a lot of people have studied with. So
Right. Right.
I doubt it.
You know, I feel
I'm curious what you've learned about bootmakers, people. So
oh
I don't know if it's like what we
yeah.
all have in common, or if there are any like strands of themes that go through each of your conversations with bootmakers.
Uh-huh. Huh. I should actually like really think through that, and because I did interview many everybody has such different backgrounds,
Hmm.
and how they started, to who they learned from, to where they want to go, to how many years they've been doing it. It's all over in a way. So, but everybody seems to
Yeah,
love everybody loves what they do. That's one common theme. If you don't love
yeah,
it, they're not doing it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So, and yeah, no, it's
yeah.
really encouraging. Hmm.
It's not something you just fall into.
No, definitely not. Yeah,
No.
yeah. Yeah, no, I agree on that. And the amount of space that you need is so different, but then cowboy bootmakers use more machinery, I think, than shoemakers. So I feel
Uh-huh.
like their space is bigger. That's what I thought. Um, because handmade, bespoke shoemakers, they can just make in a smaller space
Right.
and do everything by hand. And not that everybody does. Some people have machinery to help them out, but like the heavy, like the Landis, for example, not everybody has that. And I think a lot of bootmakers do have that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind
Yeah.
of funny. It's such a ginormous machine for one
Yeah.
person, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Is that a
I don't
machine
know.
that you got? Did you get that one also from Carl?
I did. I did. It's just, there's a different tool for every part of the process, you know?
Right.
I also I didn't show this machine, which
Uh-huh.
somebody just gave me recently. It's
Oh.
yeah, it's a Yamada post machine.
Oh, that's great.
A local upholsterer gave it to me.
Uh-huh.
It was pretty beat up. It looks
Uh-huh.
cleaner now. I've cleaned it. It was filthy. But I'm
Uh-huh.
curious if anybody out there has one. Maybe write a note and I'll reach out to you later. I'm just curious. I don't know. I'd never heard of the brand. They're
Yeah.
an active dealer in the U.S. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it appears to be a pretty good machine. I can get a servo motor and a table
Yep.
pretty
Yep.
easily. So I'm kind
Yep.
of excited because I was really wanting one of these, and the fact that it just fell into my lap was like
Oh, that's fantastic. It does, and it has the
really great.
reverse and everything. I think it's
Yeah,
pretty modern looking, like it's new. Um,
yeah, no, they still sell them on the website, and
yeah.
it's a needle,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is
yeah.
super fun because
Yeah.
I've never done anything double needle. And also you can take one of the needles out and make it a single needle.
Right.
So yeah, if anybody
More
has the
options.
Yamada, let me know. Yeah,
That's
options.
great. Yeah, I've never heard of Yamata before, but yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah,
I
yeah, me
it
neither.
sounds Japanese, but you
Yeah,
know, but you said that there's like a American distributor or
yeah.
or
It's not even. I mean, it's a
some
wet.
website.
Yamada.com. It doesn't go through a
Okay.
distributor. It's direct.
Oh, okay.
And I actually
Wow, okay.
called the company and got a human.
Oh, that's great. That's great. The classic
Yeah,
way to, yeah.
yeah,
Well,
right.
looking
I
forward
know.
to seeing it. I look forward to seeing the table and the servo motor all like together. You stitching on it would be cool to see.
Yes, I will
Um,
post a
but
photo. It's all up.
when you stitch the uppers, the upper boot top with multiple stitches, you always hand stitch, right? That's what all the bootmakers do. It seems like I've never met somebody who uses a double needle stitcher for the boot top.
Oh yeah, double. No, I don't know anybody that's
No,
done a double
no.
needle.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're all by eye, like beautiful work. It's much
yeah,
more like narrow and
yeah. No, I
yeah,
just use my 3115.
nice. That's what
Yeah,
everybody seems to also use too.
yeah.
3115,
No,
the finger.
amazing
Yeah,
machines.
yeah. Did you know how to fix all the machines, or did you also learn that with Carl?
I mean, I'm reasonably handy, right? I mean, if you make furniture and you grew up on a farm, you kind of are at least comfortable trying to figure it out.
The
So,
machines.
um, I mean, like, thank heavens, all of my machines have been so reliable. I mean, I kind of laugh
Yeah.
sometimes because if something happened really serious, like, you know, it would be quite difficult. But anyway, I could
Right.
probably find someone. I'd probably have to bribe Ed, the guy that I studied with, to fly out here and figure it out with me.
Yeah.
I've had to replace some leather belts. I oil my machines. I mean, they're
Mm-hmm.
so exquisite in their sort of exoskeletal design. Like you can see all
Mm-hmm.
the mechanics of them. There's no
Mm-hmm.
computerized brain
Right.
backlit behind a panel.
Right.
So
It's
they're
simple, straightforward.
yeah, they're super elemental. In fact,
Mm.
I just had a needle break on my curved needle machine for the first time in the 6 years that I've owned it, which I kind of laughed at. I was like, how can that even be? And of course, I didn't have extra needles because, that was just like one little detail I thought about.
You
So
didn't need
that
it
took a
for a
while
long
finding the
time,
needle.
so yeah. Aha.
Yeah.
Do you have a repair shop or some supplier near you?
No, um, all of my supplies I'm getting online.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't had to call anybody in to fix anything yet. Knock on
Yeah.
wood.
Yeah. Oh, good. 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 Um, I'll go on to like the next question for future. If you had all the resources available, time and resources, what kind of boot would you make and for who?
Um, I am not wanting for a client that, allows me some specific thing. I really enjoy bringing to fruition other people's ideas. So
Mm-hmm.
that to me is sort of the novelty and the creativity is in
Mm-hmm.
figuring that out. So it really doesn't matter to me the subject matter. And in fact, the
Mm-hmm.
more unusual or people's quirks, it's fun to figure out how to make that
Yeah.
work visually.
Yeah.
You know, I think the artwork takes care of sort of the left side of my brain in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need
Mm-hmm.
boots to be this awesome
Mm-hmm.
creative outlet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
other than the inherent way in which they're
Right.
creative.
And do you always wear boots that you made?
No, I don't always wear boots. I mean, they are fantastically comfortable. I love them. I live in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Um, a boot is, so it's kind of out of place here in a lot of ways, even though I love to say there are plenty of cowboys in the nation's capital. Um,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, but
Yeah.
no, I'm not like a 24/7 wearer of my own
Right.
boots, of my own
Yeah.
product.
In the studio, some people love wearing it just for the comfort, and some people have like way more comfortable shoes, they say. To in the shop, do you wear boots to your shop
Well, I
sometimes?
mean,
Mm.
yeah, sure, I do, but I mean, the summers are so hot, like
Yeah.
boots are
It's
pretty
hot.
comfortable temperature wise, but I just wouldn't even like think to put them on because
Right.
once I walk outside, it's just hot and
Yeah.
sweaty. So like I'm gonna
Yeah.
say 6 months of the year, it's just humid in a way that would be
Yeah.
uncomfortable for boot making.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
hear you. And then do you take interns or do you also take apprentices in your shop?
I've never had anybody ask.
Oh.
And I think once I had somebody ask, but they wanted to do like sneakers or shoes, something a little bit different, which
Mm.
I don't do.
Hmm.
So I haven't had to deal with that because that would be a tricky situation.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
yeah. I don't know. I
Yeah.
would
You don't have
consider taking
time
on
maybe.
an
Hmm.
apprentice,
Hmm.
but it would have to be all sorts of right chemistry and vent and their background. It would have to be a whole
Yeah.
puzzle of things to make it
Yeah.
really worthwhile because it is a lot of work. The only
Yes.
reason I would want to do it is just because people did it for me.
Right. Right.
So So I sort of feel like karmically I owe somebody an apprenticeship.
Well, that's good
So
to
we'll see.
know. Yeah,
Probably not the thing to admit here on Instagram. I don't like to get inundated, but there
right, right.
it is.
But
It's out there.
yeah, one day it has to be the right person, you know, for the right time, what right reasons and everything. But I think that's great that you're willing to do that. Where do you want to be in like 3 to 5 to 10 years? Do you want to keep on making boots? Would you kind of want to do 50-50 art and boots? Do you want to take your art more to the next kind of like launch or what is your plan?
Well, it's funny. My initial thought on how to answer that question was I want to be in Wyoming or
Oh,
somewhere Rocky
okay.
Mountain West.
Mm,
That's in terms of wanting to where I want to be in 3 to 5 years. I think of a geographical location first, but
yeah, yeah. Well,
no,
that's
I'm
cool though.
yeah, yeah. We shall see. I am really focusing on the art.
Mhm.
There's more opportunity in it. There's more opportunity to
Mm,
exhibit. There's more opportunity for residencies, for publication. It's got a
mhm.
little bit more vitality built into it. And it's a little bit more challenging for me personally. So I will
Oh,
always do it, but
interesting.
I will be quite happy if I just have a few and they're kind of in the background. And maybe even if I can just raise my prices, so I do very few
Uh-huh.
pairs kind of thing. So
Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah,
That's
I hate to admit
exciting.
on a shoe talk program that it's not my main focus, or
No.
it's not my intended
Okay.
main focus for the future. But
Yeah, no, I
you
think
know,
it's okay. I think that's great. And I think leather work and artwork, and I feel like, yeah, you were saying like boot and art is different, but there is overlap as well. And like the craft, it's you, your hands, and like everything, all the inspiration, it's still you.
hmm
So I think it's
yeah.
fantastic. Is Wyoming something like is um is that like what oh my goodness, I'm like blanking out on a word, but not a nostalgic place. Oh my goodness. Do you have like a story behind Wyoming?
Well, I mean, I say Wyoming. I'm from the West, so
Okay.
we'll start
Okay.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
And you also had your
Anywhere that
mentor was from Wyoming.
yeah, and I have family ties to Wyoming.
Oh, family ties.
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of the Rocky Mountain West broadly would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Um,
And would you have horses in your life?
no, I would
No.
not have horses in my life. I actually just went riding this morning. I actually ride here in Washington, D.C.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. I ride. I'm a volunteer for the United States Mounted Police Unit. So,
Wow.
so all those
What does,
protest shots you see where there's horses and cops in the background,
yeah,
yeah, that,
yeah.
which is probably a bad reference point, but that's the organization. So it's really great because the barn is literally zero point 0.7 mile from the White House. Like but
Okay, wow.
it's so far away in every other way from
Yeah.
everything going on. I mean, it's quite bucolic. It's in Rock Creek Park, and
Uh-huh.
it's just really
And you ride
nice
it.
to go
Oh, that's
riding.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. And do
But
you
no,
take care
I
of
don't
the
want to
horse?
own horses. Horses are way too
No.
expensive and complicated.
Okay, okay. Yeah, and I was wondering, I mean, you know, growing up, you were saying you rode
Yeah.
horses all the time. Right. Yeah. Well, that's cool though, that you can do that to volunteer. And do you also have to kind of take care of the horses a little bit with this volunteer work? No, you get to
Nope,
just
nope. The
ride
job
them?
is to exercise the animals. Yeah. So
Really?
I just show up and typically get a pick where I want to ride and then leave them for somebody else to feed and take care of. It's like, it's the
Wow.
best volunteer gig of all
Yes,
time for sure.
it is the best volunteer job. Yes. Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
No,
And when you do you ride with your cowboy boots, or do you usually have like a horse riding boot?
no, the cops ride English.
Oh, right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
No cowboy boots there.
Right.
But that is
Wow.
how I got the gig, because the head trainer for the unit was at an opening, and my boots came up as a topic. And they were like, "Oh,
Oh,
you should come down and volunteer." And I was
you're
like,
like,
"Oh,
yes.
yes, I will be looking into that. Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's
So,
fantastic.
yeah, boots
So,
deliver in funny ways.
yes. Yes. Yeah. That's great. I feel like it's always gonna be doing that for you. You know, it's like this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just quirky enough. It's like just off center enough that
Yes.
it draws unusual people, and I mean that's one of
Yeah.
the things I love about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
little,
Do you
little
feel like
underground.
you're gonna, for your artwork, right now it's all mounted, for example, like, on a
Mhm.
wall. Would
Mhm.
you use sort of like a boot top shape as a piece as well? It's kind of like to marry the two. No, nope,
Nope.
totally separate.
Nope.
All right,
Yeah, I
got
mean,
it. I'm gonna,
if it conceptually tied together, sure, but I can't really imagine. I mean, a series of work that I'm thinking about embarking on is portraits of cowboys.
hmm
So they might have boots, but it wouldn't be, it would be just a small
right.
part of the image. But I kind of want to do large scale images of
hmm
cowboys,
hmm
including cowboys of color, because there's a long history of that
Right.
in the American West that's not really been explored very much. So
Mm-hmm.
one body of work I've been thinking about doing.
Oh, that is really cool.
Hmm.
I'm gonna follow this other. Do you have an Instagram account for
Yeah,
your artwork
I've
as
just
well?
started it, so it's a
Uh-huh.
little early days. Um, or Chase.Deforest is the Instagram
Okay.
handle, or
Uh-huh.
chasedeforest.net is the website.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna check it out.
All right.
It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so. I'm really excited to see what comes out, and um and shows. Please announce on Instagram
Yeah.
too when you were saying you have like some shows coming up, and yeah.
Yeah. The website is got a lot more on it. Is
Uh-huh.
in terms of the work that I've done in that area. I had a big show
Uh-huh.
last year, so all the work from that show is on the website. So
Okay. I'll
we're
check
gonna
it
check it
out.
out and you'll have an idea.
Yes, definitely. All right. Thank you so, so much for taking the time. And I'm so sorry about the beginning that I was late.
Oh, no worries. Thank
But
you.
yeah, no, thank you. And your space is beautiful. It's just, it's amazing that you have the space that's
Yeah,
so
it's
in like an artist community.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
really great to not have to work alone, but also to be able to shut my door. Well, I can't wait to get
Yep.
up to Brooklyn Shoe Space because I'm in and out of New York a lot. So, are
Yeah.
you guys back?
One
Are
day
you
when we
back open?
reopen. No, we left the space. So now when I go back, I'll have to find a new space.
Ah, right.
Yes.
Sorry to hear it. I can only imagine tricky
No,
times.
it's okay. Yes. It was a retail space, so it was a little, too pricey for me.
Yeah, right. All
Yeah,
right. Well, you'll
to
have
book
all these
cheap.
people on Instagram who will be rooting for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a unique thing. We need more of it. We need more inventiveness and unique, you know, one of a kind
Ways,
companies. Otherwise, the world gets pretty generic and boring pretty quick.
right. And 60% of a lot of shops are closing. So, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. I don't want to just quit. I want to keep on going, but I have to kind of find the right time and
yeah,
everything. Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure
But
a newborn doesn't help either. So
yes, she's almost one. It's great, but
newish. No, is that no longer newborn?
newish.
I mean, when do they stop
Not,
being
I don't
newborn?
know.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's gonna take a while, but it'll be fun to see the progress. Yeah, and stay healthy. And
Yes, you too.
yes, yes. And I'll
Thanks so
see
much.
you online. Yes.
We'll see
See
you
you
down the
soon.
road.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.